there's a part of me that feels like this is a little bit routine-ish. So there's something that I am letting go of when it comes to this. Like there is something about my feminine, if it's too structured, my feminine wants to break out of it and just be free. So there is something to that, but I am sticking to it and completing these 28 days of channeling Jesus. So welcome. If you stumble upon this video, please go to the link in the description and click on that link, sign up, and then you start from day one, because there are some accompanied texts in the email. That is all for free, this 28-day challenge. Or no, 28-day consciousness shift. That's the name. So there is some accompanied text with that. And you are more than welcome to join there, because then you get the full experience. So other than that, you will just get this, which is a wonderful experience as well, but there can be some more. So I would like you to get the most out of this. So if you do that, you'll follow exactly how it is meant to be. So you see, these are the two aspects inside of us. This was the masculine, the structure, the making sure that all of these things are taken care of. The masculine is a wonderful aspect. It's so important to have that aspect that makes sure that things are organized, things are done, things are getting accomplished, routines are put in place. But in order to what? In service to the feminine. That's what has to be remembered. That all of the discipline is there to serve the feminine. All of the rules are there to serve the blossoming of the feminine. That is the main thing. If all of your planetary laws were shifted into that it has to serve the feminine, well, this world would be a magnificent place. Because that is the nature of energy. The masculine, the consciousness, the soul, who you are poking through these bodies. You can pretend that you are not the body. Maybe you forgot. But you can also remember who you are. And you can remember in these bodies. It is possible. I've gone through it. It is a cleansing process. It is looking at a lot of shadows. What are the parts of me that I hidden away, that I didn't want to look at? I hid things like that I was a narcissist, that I was misogynistic, that I had parts of me that was a misogynist. These are things that we have to look at within ourselves and be very honest with what expressions that we are exuding. Because a lot of them are twisted in shadow. Meaning, I'm not that. I don't even want to look at that. And defensive if someone even dares to say. And so, it is a deep process to align these two aspects. It's not super easy always. Sometimes we're going through things with the body, things that we as the soul didn't want to admit about the body because we looked at it in a different way. But when we know that we are the soul and we are merely operating the body. The body is just our responsibility. We can, as you hear, Gaia is here. Gaia is all around here. Supporting this transmission. Supporting you. Supporting your growth. We have to support the planet. We have to make sure that what we're ingesting is healthy. We want to make sure that we are getting the best nutrition from our soil. It is very simple. Injecting joy and harmony. But in the process of diving into shadow, it might not feel good. That's the first step though. Not that it needs to not feel good, but to accept where you're really at. A lot of beings are fooling themselves and ignoring certain parts, having fantasy and twisted perception of what is the truth and how they are actually bringing their energy through and how it's being perceived, because that is also important. Because if you have a clear receptive, it's the mirror. And if the mirror is taught to not speak truth because they are afraid of hurting feelings, then it's not rooted in love. And so it's hard to develop in that scenario. It's not impossible. I've done it. But it took a lot of honesty for me to get there. It took a lot of getting reflected from someone that can see you and what you're doing. And that is what the feminine is really good at. The feminine, connected, speaks the truth in harmony with what they can see, because they care about the connectedness of everything. And so if you as a soul comes here through a body making havoc, it's gonna let you know. If they're rooted in love. There are different ways of presenting all of this, obviously. This can be presented very lovingly. But the most important thing is that it gets presented. This is what the representation of being in the body and receiving the signals from the body. It is a direct reflection, because the body is here to serve the soul. But in a loving way. Serve in an honoring way. Serving to make sure that it's upholding clear energy within that vessel. Integral in what's being spoken and transmuted. It's a different way of looking at it. Take away these concepts. It's easier to take away these concepts of that many patterns of feeling less than or unworthy or those types of things when you look at it correctly and go, I am actually I'm actually not my body. Those are the body's sensations. I got it. It's easier to detach from it because it doesn't dictate who you are in truth. And that's the game. Because we are all so wonderful. We are all magnificent beings. But we have to look at reality correctly. Like I know we've talked a lot about. But it can't be emphasized enough because there's been so much misinformation that even hearing the truth can sometimes feel like there's something here, but I can't really comprehend what it actually is. That's how it feels like. And this reminds this body of the first time I read A Course in Miracles. It was like that. I was reading it, I felt really good, but I couldn't understand what the F it was saying. What? Like I was reading it, there were words, but I didn't get it. And that was this being's training to be able to commune and channel Jesus, because that was Jesus' teaching. That was my teaching. It was channeled through a different being in a different time. And that text is still very valid today as a calibration tool to disentangle from some of these concepts that you have been entangled with. It will actually literally start to correct some of the misconceptions in the mind. And it is natural that a mind needs to be calibrated in frequency before it can comprehend the language. And that is what is going on if you read A Course in Miracles. The texts are literally vibrating at a frequency that the body can feel. So the body will feel good, right? Because the body has light receptors. So whenever these bodies are the most magnificent frequency devices that you have ever, like no AI or nothing can come even close to what you are actually walking around in. There's so much that's possible with these bodies that we are just scratching the surface of the depth of these magnificent electromagnetic systems that we're walking around in. These 28 days are the first step into continuing to grow in consciousness into levels that you may not even think was possible. But it is just frequency calibration. We're teaching frequency calibration to a totally different level of comprehension. And it is the holistic perspective that we're speaking from. It is a very high frequency in the way that we're transmitting energy and the way of operating. And it basically lifts your entire experience up to a completely different way of operating. It's not done in one go. It is a gradual process, but this is the first step into that, into calibrating stable foundation of frequency for the human body, comprehending energy full on through. Connected in the right way, seeing clearly how this reality operates and how these energies actually work and to work in harmony with these bodies, with Gaia, with this whole natural flow of energy. These artificial ways of connecting through devices, they are frequency calibration tools. And so you can use them, but make sure that you pay attention to your body when you consume these types of content, so that it doesn't become too much. Your body will let you know. Your body is an excellent read of energy, but you have to make sure that you are not overriding it because of habitualness. Because these devices, the mobile phone, computers, they are very addictive. They are everything you do becomes more. So make sure that you're injecting healthy habits, so that you make sure that you listen to your body. And if it's too much, listen and respect the feminine, which is the body, which are the feelings. Your body will let you know. Your body will let you know when it's time to change, when it's time to do something else. When your body feels restless, listen to that. That is a sign from Gaia to come back to reality. Let's change it up. This is too boring. Let's not do the same thing over and over and over again. And so these are the ways that you can learn to harmonize. That you can learn to harmonize and stay connected and connect deeper into Gaia. And the deeper you go, the higher you soar. That's why many of you have been through traumatic relationships, because they were taking you to depth of yourself, of what you hadn't seen of yourself yet. And it was meant to pull something out of you, a strength, a determination, which is what you needed in order to grow into more of who you are and more of what you're capable of. You're doing so well. Hosting light is an honor and a privilege. It takes awareness of what's what, reading the body's signals, making sure that you don't get lost in things, lost in energies, but that you are actually reading energies situated, very well placed, connected to Gaia and connected to Source. That's how you get to connect properly and read this environment. You're living in magnificent times, and these are excellent time for spiritual growth, because the energies are increasing on the planet continuously, revealing more of the shadow. The shadow will be seen. And what is that? These are just things that have been lurking under the surface, under people's radars, that get seen, so that we can learn and get informed. That's what the light does. It shows the darkness so that we can see it, so that we can accept our ignorance and our part in it, so that we can move on to move on in different ways, using the information from the past to inform us about how to move forward in a good way. That is what that is for. So that we can see things accurately. So that we can see who's who and what's what. And so that we can connect fully with who we are in order to make change that is needed on this planet. Because we are building our world one light at a time. Everyone that's embodying more light are building this new world. That's how it's done. Through frequency and calibration. That's how we literally bring it here. It's not enough to just say that it's here and use that affirmation. Sometimes it is. You have to, meaning it's not enough to just say it. You have to vibrate it through your being. This new way of being. And that takes practice and dedication to be able to vibrate there consistently. That's what we wanted to share for this one. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Ciao. That was a lovely message. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and see you again tomorrow.